Here are some habits that rich people use for hyperfocus, which I use for school. These are absolutely insane. These techniques, if you perfect them, I guarantee you it'll make it so much more easier to get good marks. They help you with focus, procrastination, and even a foggy mind if you have that. So make sure to watch it until the end. In this video, you won't hear conventional advice. So you're not going to hear some shit like study a bit every single day or bullshit, because if you follow conventional advice, you're going to get conventional results. Conventional advice never works because that only leads to what majority of people doing. And the thing is, if you're a majority of people, you're being mediocre. You must listen to something that is so weird, so unconventional. That is the only thing that will lead you to unconventional results. And the unconventional results we want is extreme good marks with extreme low amount of time required to get them. For reference, if you don't know me already, I used to be a really bad student and I wanted good grades really badly, even though I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. So I started listening to conventional advice, but then that transformed me to a nerd who got enslaved by the education system, where now I'm spending way more time, pretty much half my day every single day for so many years just to get a higher number. I eventually started doing my own research about studying and how to study effectively and quickly so that I can get high marks in less time. And now I can maintain my 95 average without doing homework, without taking notes. This is the most unconventional advice I've ever seen on the internet. Absolutely insane. Let's get into it. The first thing that I realized is extreme focus will always be required. No matter what technique you use, if you want to get work done, you need hyperfocus for every single technique that you do. I remember around a year ago, I had a grade 10 science group project. And I remember I was trying to sit down and get to work every single class. But for some reason, I just could not sit down and work. My mind would wander like literally every single 5 to 10 seconds. Like I would sit down and work. My mind would wander after 10 seconds of working. And then for some reason, my phone would be in my hand and I'd be playing Brawl Stars already without even realizing it. My intention was so fucked. My focus was so fucked. I needed a way to fix it. Fast forward a few months until I finally found the golden technique, and it's called meditation. Now you might be thinking, that's what the fuck? I probably heard this from like a monk or something. It's weird as fuck. I know, but it gets insane results. Trust me. What is meditation? Meditation is pretty much focusing on your breath. And what focusing on your breath really means is whenever your mind wanders, you're drawing your focus back onto the breath. And it's almost like if your focus was like this and your mind wanders, you're just like gripping it back again. And that pretty much trains your brain to focus and hyper focus back and over again. Eventually, you get so good at that to the point where you can focus on tasks for hours and hours. This skill is essential for literally every single aspect of your life. You need focus as a baseline skill for improving every single aspect of your life. And the truth is, focus is a skill. You are in complete control over your ability of focus. Stop coping. You are in complete control. Don't cope until you try this technique out. Don't cope until you have meditated for at least a month and seen results. Because it's guaranteed. If you meditate, you're literally, what you're doing when you're meditating is practicing focusing. You're just focusing to get better at focusing. If you seriously stick to meditation for at least a month, I guarantee you will get results. There's no, oh, this won't work for me. Oh, focus isn't a skill. It's all bullshit. That's your own brain fighting against you. If you want to get better results, why are you not just trusting in me and saying, oh wait, you can actually improve this skill. Let's just start meditating right away. Now, how do you actually meditate? So let me go quickly in depth on how you actually do so. So pretty much what you do is just you can sit down or lie down. Sitting is not really the best because you're crunching up your lungs. So I suggest lying down, or you can just stand up and be a beast. So pretty much you just relax, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. And what I mean by that, focusing on your breath, what I like to do is pretty much focus on the feeling of air going into your lungs. Like if you breathe really deeply, you can feel the air in your lungs, right? So pretty much focus on that sensation that you get when you inhale and exhale, and keep breathing, obviously. And once your mind wanders, because your mind constantly wanders is actually a natural thing. If you meditate for long enough, your mind won't start not wandering. It will just wander, but you'll have more control over where your thoughts and mind focuses. Very commonly, you'll actually buy into that thought. You'll think more and more into it, and you're actually going to forget about the fact that you were meditating in the first place. The key thing is just snap back to meditation as quickly as possible. I guarantee you, the first time you do this, because your focus has been fucked for so many years. Think about it. You've been playing video games or scrolling for years before. Now that we're actually sitting down and training your focus, it of course is not gonna snap back to perfect immediately. You need at least 2 weeks or 1 month of results to finally see your results coming in. And it's actually insane how you can even see results in 2 weeks, even though you've been playing video games for years, right? So this is the power of the technique. This is why I advocated for it so much and why I try to meditate at least every single day. Now, the next millionaire technique that I copied from other people is called a routine. So right now, I'm just gonna go back to meditation for a bit because I need you to build a meditation habit. How do you actually build a habit? What you can do is define exactly when you're gonna do it and exactly what you're gonna do. So for example, at 4 p.m., I'm going to meditate for 5 minutes. That is a habit. As long as you stick to it long enough, you will get it down, and every single time the alarm rings when you set at 4 p.m., you're just gonna automatically do it. Now the issue with this is at 4 p.m. you don't really know what you're doing, right? It could be like at 3:50 you start an assignment or you start eating lunch, or maybe that's a bit too late, but what happens is you might cut off into a different task, and then now you have to stress over switching from one task to another just to get it done. So this type of habit is good, and of course doing something is better than doing nothing. But there's an even more powerful technique, and it's called habit stacking. So imagine if instead of setting your habit at 4 p.m., instead you set it right after you do something else. So for example, right after I wake up, I meditate for 5 minutes. Right after I come home from school, I meditate for 5 minutes. Now, it's so much more easier to get into the flow of the habit because you just switch from doing something else. You just finished something, right? For example, if you just woke up, you literally have nothing else to do. Maybe you want to brush your teeth first. But if you set it in stone, it's so much more easier because now you have the decision already made. You already know exactly when you wake up, you're going to meditate. There's no, oh, I should finish this first and then I'll meditate. Like if you set an alarm for 4 p.m., you might be almost done an assignment and then you just be like, okay, I'm gonna finish this first and then I'm gonna meditate. And then you just forget about meditation and you're fucked because you're not setting the habit in your brain. You need your brain to be consistent. So make your meditation habit right now, no excuses. Just say, when I wake up, when I go to school, when I come back from school, any single stack you can make, just make it right now. And the thing is, if you do it with school, you have to figure out a different type of stack when it comes to on the weekends. So the best case is actually, in my opinion, after you wake up or right before you go to sleep, because those things happen every single possible day. If not, you can do after you eat lunch or dinner, and those are actually really good as well. So now you're becoming a weirdo, right? But millionaires take it a step even further. And honestly, I've come up with something that's even further than what most people do. So millionaires get to the point where instead of just stacking one habit, why don't we just stack a ton? So in the morning, we just fucking, cold shower and then meditate and then journal and then read a book and then get to work, like cold calls for sales or whatever, right? That is the millionaire schedule. That is what millionaires have realized, that if you stack every single thing, your day becomes a flow state. You don't even know, you know exactly what to do at any point of time. There's no wondering, oh, should I do this assignment or next? You already know, oh, I'm gonna get this done. And what this does, it reduces the decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is pretty much the micro decisions that you make every single day that actually fatigues people. Imagine if you had to make 100 decisions on what you had to do in one day, and then multiply that by 7. So you have to make 700 decisions in a week. Imagine if you just cut that all out right now and made something called a daily routine, which pretty much is a full day of stacked habits. That would be insane for productivity, right? That's what millionaires do. But the thing is, I've taken it even step further when I realized that, oh, some days I have extracurriculars, some days I don't, and for weekends I'm especially free, right? So I have something called a weekly routine. Okay, bro, let me literally show you. Okay, this is beside my fucking psychopathic goals on my wall, right? Look at this, bro. Look at this. I literally have a fucking routine for every single fucking day. This is how you get fucking rich, bro. This is how you get fucking rich. If you want to see it, I'll put a link in the description. But this is how you get fucking rich, bro. When you plan every single fucking day in your week, there's no beating you. You're not gonna start randomly forgetting about what you do. This is the absolutely most insane productivity tactic I've ever found out. Not only does this routine make it easy for every single day to know exactly what to do at any point of time, I've also applied countless productivity techniques to this routine. For example, the 80-20 rule, time management, all that bullshit. I've applied it and it makes it so much more easier to realize every single second of your day can be optimized. If you want a full guide, just tell me in the comments section and I'll make like maybe an hour-long video or something, how to make exactly this and how to optimize every single second of your day. This is the gold. I'm telling you, if you do this, this will help you with procrastination so much because now you know exactly what to do at any single point of time, and it's just absolutely insane. Now, the last thing I've realized that helps me with a foggy mind is called intermittent fasting. What is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is pretty much constricting your time window for when you eat. So for example, instead of eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, where you eat a meal every single second of your day, I've decided to eat only lunch and dinner, and I find that optimal. And now, of course, I'm not just eating less. I'm gonna fit in what I wanted to eat for breakfast during lunch so that I just have the same amount of calories and same amount of nutrients. Now, why did I do this? The thing is, a lot of people have a foggy mind, and you might think of it as uncontrollable. And now I think that this also comes from people frying their dopamine receptors 24/7. That is obviously causing you to have a foggy mind. But what's also causing a foggy mind is something called a carb crash, or digestion pretty much sapping away your energy. So what happens when we eat food? When we eat food, our digestive tract starts like turning on, right? And the thing is, our digestive tract is really big organ in our body, like a chain, like a system, right? And it actually takes a ton of energy to digest it. So whenever you eat like anything, it doesn't matter if it's pure GMO-free grass-fed steak or fucking shit-ass like naan bread or something, right? All these things take energy to consume. And what happens is, after you eat, your body's not only just putting more energy towards consuming it, it's also putting your body at a state of rest and digest, where you even use even less energy. You start relaxing even more. This is why after you eat things like cereal, or even if you eat breakfast at all, if the more you eat, the more tired you feel after it. Let me give you an example. So a few weeks ago, I was at a competition, and it was during lunchtime when they gave out pizzas for lunch. And of course, I'm not gonna eat those Cheetos, but no, what I realized was literally everyone was falling asleep after eating pizza. Like, I'm not even trolling. Everyone was on the ground falling asleep after they ate the pizza. And now my friends were coping. They were feeling really tired too. And they were coping. They're like, oh, well, it's not the pizza. I was always tired, right? And of course, yeah, probably they're also on like 5 hours of sleep. But the thing is, the pizza made them so tired to the point where they were literally falling asleep on the floor. That was my experience with people and the carb crash. It's so obvious when people eat lunch, they get tired. So what is the point of me explaining this to you? The point is, I'm trying to say, if you want to optimize your focus, not eating is actually the strategy. Think about it. As cavemen, we didn't have breakfast. We had to hunt and then get the food in the morning. We didn't have constant sugar, constant like snacks throughout the entire day. We just worked on an empty stomach. It makes complete sense. But what I'm trying to say is, pretty much, I've stopped eating breakfast. I mean, I already told you before, but I've stopped eating breakfast, and what I've found is it actually helps with my focus so much. So my schedule is, before like before school, I used to eat breakfast, right? And period 1 and period 2 would happen, and then I would eat lunch, and then period 3 and period 4 is, and what I started to do is I realized my focus after I cut out my breakfast was that period 1 and period 2 were like, my brain was actually hyper focused, and the moment I ate lunch between period 2 and period 3, my period 3 and period 4, I was actually falling asleep, even though I wasn't eating a ton of carbs, which saps a ton of more energy than usual foods like steak or meat. However, I was still feeling that digestive energy sap during period 3 and period 4. So what I realized was, you don't have to go this extreme, but I actually cut out lunch as well. And this is what I do today, and this is what gotten me results of hyper focus during school, to the point where I can just sit down and listen to every single boring ass teacher, and it works. Now let me just destroy some limiting beliefs. You don't need sugar every single 10 seconds, or else we'd be dead as a species. If you're hungry, that's probably just because you've eaten sugar for so long and your insulin is up, and like, I've done so much research, you don't have to worry about it. Of course, your parents are probably not gonna let you, and because it's absolutely insane, they just haven't done the research. It's like, for example, for some reason, parents still buy into the belief that you have to eat 3 meals a day. Like, they've been hypnotized this idea, like, oh, I need to eat breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Bro, cavemen didn't eat breakfast. How are cavemen stronger in every single aspect of their body compared to us, but they didn't eat breakfast? It just doesn't make sense. Intermittent fasting is extremely good for working at extremely high intensity, especially during the first few periods of school. First of all, try it out. Just stop eating breakfast and see what happens. I guarantee you'll understand what I mean by your period 1 and period 2 will be hyper focused. Even if you're hungry, it will be better than not being hungry at all, because digestion saps away all your energy for your focus. And if you cut out breakfast already and you want to go even further, I suggest actually to eat lunch after period 4. Hopefully your parents don't absolutely destroy you. I just eat it sneakily in period 4 class, so that when I get home from school, my lunch is technically already done, so my parents don't find out. So hopefully they don't watch this video. It's absolutely insane. Bonus technique. This is absolutely hilarious. I want you to do your own research on what is healthy foods, so that you can actually hypnotize your family to buy steak and eggs throughout the day, so that you can actually be not malnourished for school and you can hyper focus. I'm not even joking. If you start eating steak and eggs every single day, you will become so much more energized throughout every single day. You will actually realize how to focus in class. Because think about it, you're eating all this, like, you don't even know what you're eating. You're eating seed oils, all these inflammatory foods. They're fucking up your focus. You need it out of your diet if you really want to go all the way and optimize your marks. Your marks is in complete control as long as you take control of your health and your focus. If you want to talk to me about productivity or have any questions, you can actually join my Discord server, link in the description.